I think it's a great time to have a very special guest in the studio with us, not just joining us by phone, but right here in the studio with me, and that is Sean Spicer, the former White House press secretary. Sean has a new book out. It's called Leading America. Sean, thanks so much for being here with us in the studio.
I'm glad to be here. It's impressive. You have to come to the mothership to see it all and understand how impressive this place is and what you guys are doing.
Tell people about why you chose to write Leading America, President Trump's commitment to people, patriotism, and capitalism.
I wrote it because I think that people need to understand what we're up against. We talk about it a lot as conservatives, but when you look at big tech, when you look at Hollywood, when you look at media, when you look at academia, and you understand the totality of how the left is pervaded through all these institutions, and the level of indoctrination that exists in each one of them, I look at people and I say, when you read this book, you're going to have several aha moments. You're going to go, now I get why journalists are the way they are. You're going to get why the media happens. For everyone who watched that New York Post story this week happen and get censored, this explains why.
An entire chapter of the book, and this is someone who would know about, obviously, because he's been dealing with the press throughout his career in politics, called Tech Tyrants versus Trump. I mean, and now we've just seen it come to full fruition in the last few days.
What has happened in the last 96 hours has been unbelievable. These two town halls last night, watching one side get beach balls and the other side get thrown hard balls. The moderator debating Trump in a town hall. But as you pointed out, this censorship that exists, the reaction of the media, the fact checkers, all of this is covered in the book. They locked Kayleigh McEnany's account for sharing a story
from a
publication that is the longest serving publication in America, founded by Alexander Hamilton. They blocked her account for sharing a story, not for editorializing it, not for giving her opinion, not for spending, for literally sharing something that, by the way, those same journalists for 3 years have been talking about how we can't silence the press. We've got to stand up for the media, except for when that story doesn't benefit the left. What liberals fear most, I've come to realize, is not it is being exposed to conservative values and policies and principles, because they know that they're common sense. And so what they try to do is cancel out, shut out, and shout down any element of conservative thought or discussion, because they know they'll lose.
That stop people from posting a news source. I mean, not fringe either. New York Post suddenly becomes banned on Twitter. That's what we've come to.
But how ironic that we're having this discussion with you here in a place that you guys fight for law and liberty and all these things. And yet the reason that Twitter can do this is because of a section of the Federal Decency Act, Section 230, which treats media organizations different. It gives these social media platforms the ability to do this with immunity. So they can attack you, they can block you, they can shut you down, and you can't do a thing. Whereas if the Washington Post or the New York Times or someone else sort of came after you or said malicious or untrue things, you could sue them. You can't do that with them.
Chapter 8 is called, it's titled Grade Schools as Battlegrounds. So I want to start there, because we've got a lot of audience, of course, with young kids. We got a lot of grandparents listening right now. Everybody's nervous about that, because they're seeing a lot more about what their kids are being taught because of these Zoom classes too. They're starting to they're learning a lot more. But you're saying even like at the grade school level, it's a battleground. Oh,
we're talking second, third, fourth, fifth grade. Now, here's the thing. I detail this, and I learned a lot writing this chapter. There's a school not far from where I live in Virginia that gives kids the day off to go protest climate change. Okay. Now, I write this in the book. I'm not here to argue about the causes, but take out climate change and insert a right to life march. Would you feel the same if that was happening? And I would argue that most liberals probably wouldn't.
Great to have Sean Spicer in the studio with us, folks. As you can tell, as we're getting close to Election Day, we're trying to bring you just the best coverage possible, best guests possible, best analysis possible on the issues that you care about, whether it's like in Sean's book, getting ready for what we already are seeing, the avalanche coming at not just the president, but all conservatives.